Welcome everyone to part 4 of WebDev. Today we'll be learning about React components and React state using hooks. So last video we talked about a little bit more in depth of CSS and styling and some TSX components with using Chakra and stuff like that. And these components themselves are custom made, right? The Chakra library made these components, okay? So we're going to be learning about how we can make our own custom components that use that, okay? So what is a component? Okay, a component is basically what you're looking at right now. It is a way for React to know what to render on a website. So it renders this image component with these attributes, okay, these properties, we say, okay. So let me show you an example of why we would want to use a custom component, okay. So to run our server, we're going to type npm run dev. Okay, and we're just going to control click this localhost link, and it should pop up with this. Remember, again, that it does take a while to load up here. So I'm going to move this to my other screen, and I'll move it back when we're done, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about components and how they work. So these components right here are pre-made by Chakra. Okay, and they basically have a lot of custom properties that we don't have to rewrite every single time we want to use this image. Okay, so I'm going to go into the index page, and I'm actually going to remove all this code. Okay, I'm going to remove this code as well, and I'm also going to remove this. Okay, so we have something that you guys have seen before. So we have just a normal VStack, which is, again, remember, a VStack is just a vertical stack of elements, so up and down. It looks like the website has loaded. So you can see we're on the index path, and there is nothing currently going on here. Okay, so I'm going to create just a box, okay? And again, whenever we use components, we always have to import them. Okay, and inside this box, I want a heading, and I want this heading, I will be importing them later. I want this heading to say, I don't know. Let's go back to our snake analysis, snake thing. We'll just call it snake number 1. Okay, and then in the text, there's going to be this description of snake 1. Okay, so let me make sure that I import these two components. And if we go head over back to the website, you'll see that we have a box. I'm actually going to do a VStack right here, and then HStack. I'm going to import an HStack and put that as our parent component. Okay, so we have a vertical stack, and we have an HStack. And remember, what we do to center a certain thing is we can use the center component, or what we learned from last video, we can use a justify property and make it justify to the center of the screen. You see we have snake 1, description of the snake. Okay, and then inside here I'm just going to add a little image, call it source. Remember, we're in the public folder now, so source /snakes /snake1, or snake.jpg. And we can add some alt text, so I forgot what this looks like, so we'll go back. Yellow snake looking derpy. you know? Okay. So we're going to import image. So now we go on the website. Let's actually set the width to like, I don't know, 200 pixels, so it's not massive like this. There you go. Okay. And I'm gonna move the image above the heading, so it's above this text. So the image is now up here. Okay. So right now we have one snake. Okay. But I want to show all three of them. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to copy all this. Okay, and I'm going to paste it 2 more times. I'm going to change the paths, the source for both of them, and then the text here, and we'll just leave the alt tags because I'm going to be lazy. And let's set the height actually to be, and notice how if I want to change something about all of them, I have to do it one by one. Okay, so now they're all the same height. And there's snake 1, snake 2, snake 3. Okay. So here's the issue, right? The issue is right now we are copying and pasting this code over and over. Okay. And notice again, how I wanted to change the height of the image instead of the width. I had to change it on all of these. Okay. And components fix those issues. Okay. So to create a component, all we do is declare a function and call the function name the component. So we'll say snake box. Okay. And inside these parentheses, we're going to take in an argument called props. And you'll learn about props in a second. And then what we do is we're going to return this exact code right here that we're using, but instead of having these these are called statically or hard-coded values, we are going to use non-static values. So we'll call it in the source we'll call props.source. We'll use that as the value. Inside of the alt tag, we'll use props.alt, and then inside of the height, we'll do props.h, and then inside of the heading, we'll do props.heading, and inside of the description, we'll do props.description. And notice how I'm putting brackets here. And that's because I want to use JavaScript here. I don't want the actual words props.description. I want to use the object props, and you'll learn about that in a second. Okay, and to use this component, what we do is now all we have to do is replace this. Okay, it's going to be a self-closing component, and then we just have to specify all of these props right here. So source equals for let's replace the snake 3, so it'll be /snakes/snake3.jpg. Okay, we have the alt looking derpy, maybe. Don't know what it looks like, to be honest, so sucks for you. We have the height of the component. So actually, I'm going to, yeah. So we have the height. Let's call this one actually image height. This props right here, image height. Image height, and we'll set that to 300 pixels, 200. And we need 2 more. We need a heading, snake number 3, and we need a description. So we'll put, oh, I did not mean to turn on sticky keys. Gave me a little jump scare there, but we have the description, and we will just copy it from here, paste it into over here, and let that sync. So right now it's going to actually add the exact same thing as this one, and we need to remove that snake3 box. Okay, so now we have only one snake3, and to do that for these other ones, all we have to do is just remove this stuff and then paste in our own thing. So snake number 2, snake number 2, snake number 1, and snake number 1. And now you're going to see that it looks the exact same, but now if I wanted to change, actually we're going to just set this to that, and we don't need to specify that. So now if I wanted to change the height of the image, all I have to go is the snake box, go into the height property, change it to 300, and look, boom, all of the images change because they're all referencing this snake box. Okay, they're all using this custom component that we made. All right. So there is all that type of stuff that we can use: source, alt, heading, whatever, and we can put that on top. So that's the reason why you would want to use a components, is when you want to reuse the exact same code. So when they all have the exact same styling, exact same values, then you're going to want to use a custom component for that. Okay, but that's it for custom components. I'm going to teach you about React State now. Okay, so I'm going to save this in the index file so you guys can look at that later, and we'll go back to the contact page. I'm going to delete this. Go to the contact page and let's remove this because I'm not going to need it. Okay, so we're just going to need array allocation failed. If any weird errors like this happen, just hit Control C. That's going to stop the terminal, and then hit up on your arrow key, and that's going to run or show up the last command, and then just hit enter again. So you'll see that I got a weird error. Usually this is like something to do with Node, especially this array buffer allocation. It's like some type of browser error or some type of Node error. It's a little bit weird and funky, but just got to restart the server. So basically, React State is preserving the state of a component when React re-renders, okay? So React, okay, basically why it's called React is it is reactive. You know, get it? Funny joke, haha. I don't hear you guys laughing, but okay. It may kind of hurt my feelings that you guys aren't laughing, but whatever. React allows you to change the state of component or change a certain value without having to refresh the page. Okay? And you can do that with normal HTML, but it's a little bit more tricky. You have to just manipulate the DOM using JavaScript. Here, React has something really cool. Okay? I've said it multiple times. It's called state. Okay? But for now, just copy the code so I can show you what I mean. Okay? So we're going to import useState from React. Okay? And then we're going to say const money, and then set money, and then equals useState parentheses 0. Okay? So this is a variable. Okay? So if you've ever done normal programming, if you just think about it like this is basically what it's doing. Okay? So this code right here is the exact same as this code. But the issue is with this, because of how memory pointers work with JavaScript, whenever React re-renders something, the memory address that this variable is allocated to will be moved or not in the same place as it was before. So that's why we use state for variables. Okay, so to use state, okay, which is funny because that's the name. I'm going to create a little game. Okay, really quickly. We're going to make a button. So I'm going to import button real quick from Chakra. It's gonna, if you guys have ever played Cookie Clicker, we'll just make a Cookie Clicker clone in React. So we'll say click me, okay? And what I want it to do, and we'll see a little, we go to /contact because we're on the wrong page. Go to /contact. I think this, yeah. There's a little button here, so I actually want to change how the color looks. So I'm going to go on to Chakra. I'm going to go search the docs. Again, this is what you want to do, and I'm going to look down and I'm going to see there's a property called color scheme. Okay, and if I look, there might mean something about color scheme. So changing the button, we can change the color scheme. If I scroll down all the way to here, we can change the color scheme to all of these types of colors. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to go color scheme, and let's choose orange. That's my favorite color. Okay, so we'll go back, and now the button is orange. Okay, so I want to center this button really quickly. So I'm going to do justify center, and I'm actually just going to use a center tag here instead, because I'm not going to need any of the spacing properties that you would usually want. And then inside the center tag, I'm going to add a little heading that just shows the current amount of money. Okay, so we have $0 at the start. So remember to always, if you don't import the value, this error will pop up. It will tell you that whatever you were trying to use, which in this case, it tells me exactly line 10, heading 0. You'll see heading is not defined, and that's because we did not import it. So once we import it, if we go back, you'll see, boom. Okay, I want this money to be on top of the button, not on the side of it. So I'm going to be using a VStack to wrap the entire thing around it. And again, remember, if you don't import it, it's going to throw you an error like this. Going to import VStack, and you'll see that now we have them on top of each other. So what I want to do, okay, I'm going to teach you about the onClick attribute on any button, HTML button. So the onClick attribute, okay, so this is how you write it. You'll learn a little bit about what's called arrow functions in a second, but just copy the code for now. So basically this onClick function is going to get called. So the code here is going to get run every time the user clicks this button. Okay, and currently all I'm doing is just console logging clicked. Okay, so if we actually open up the inspect, go to the console, clear out all these with this button right here. You can also hit Control L to clear the console. And now if I click this button, you'll see that the console has actually moved. And if I keep clicking, you'll see that the console has shown 12 times. I've clicked 12 times, and over and over and over, and it keeps increasing. Okay, so instead of clicking right here, what I want to do is I want to increase our money. Okay, so normally with normal variables, all you would do is you would do money equals money plus 1, or you would do money plus equals 1, or in some languages this works as well. These are all three of these are the exact same thing. Okay, but with useState, money is read only, meaning you cannot assign using this equal sign. To set the money variable, we have to use the setMoney function. Okay, and this is a function, meaning we have to use parentheses. And what we want to set the money to is whatever our current money is plus 1. So if we have $1, when we click on this button, it's going to set the money variable to 1 plus 1, which is 2. So it's just going to increase by 1. But as you see, if I click on it, which I am, nothing's happening. The the money's not changing up here. The thing is, there's bugs like this all the time in coding, okay? The reason why the money is changing is because I'm not using this money variable. I'm using an actual piece of text right here on this 0 sign, okay? So if I want to use the variable, remember in TSX, you can use these brackets to put variables. I'm going to put brackets around it. And now, you'll see I have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, all the way up, okay? So now we have the start of a clicker game, okay? We have the start of a clicker game. And what if I want like to have upgrades, right? Like what if I want to have an upgrade called, let's say like double clicks, okay? And if I buy this upgrade, every time I click, it's going to go up by 2 instead of 1, okay? So if you're following me, what I want to happen is on the screen when I click a button that says double click, I'm going to buy the upgrade. It could cost $100, whatever you guys want to make cost it, but it's going to subtract the money, and then next time I click on this button right here, it's going to increase by 2 instead of 1. Okay? So to do that, let's create a button to buy the item. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this. Actually, I'm going to create a button. Okay, and inside here, we'll call it buy 2x clicks. Okay, so I'm going to want to set the color scheme as well to orange so we match our colors going on. And when I want to click on it, what I want to do is it's going to show a little thing, so we can actually do that, or show a little number that says how many upgrades I have of this. But what I want to do instead is actually move this button to the left of this click me, so it's going to be left and right. And to achieve that, I'm going to use an H stack and wrap this in 2 buttons inside of there. And remember to always import, because it will throw you errors like this. There you go. So it should be side to side now. There you go. And I also want the money variable and what I'm going to put here next to each other. So I'm going to create a variable and we'll call it upgrades. And we're going to set upgrade. And we're going to set it equal to useState0. So this 0 right here is what's called the default value, meaning when the page is first loaded, this is going to be the value of the variable. Okay, so I'm going to basically just do this, and instead we'll have upgrades double clicks. So if we have 1, it'll say 1 double clicks. So right now we'll have 0. I'm going to want to I want to move this below. So I'm going to just remove this H stack and they're going to be on top of each other. So there you go. We have money, and when I click this, I want the money to subtract. I'm going to say that this costs $50, just so I don't have to click that much. So it costs $50. And then what I want to do is on click, so whenever we click on this upgrade, I want the variable to set the upgrades to upgrades plus 1. Okay. And then what I want to do is before that, I want to set money to money minus 50. Okay, because it costs $50. Okay, but there's going to be an issue, and you'll see that first in a second. So if I click me, right, and I go, we'll go all the way to 50. Okay, so if I click on the buy click, it works. But if I click it again, it goes down and down and down. So it actually goes into negative clicks. Okay? And so when I click it, now I have negative money. And I don't want that. You can't have negative money. You either have 0 or anything higher. Okay? So to fix this issue, we have to check if they even have enough money. So we use what's called an if statement. Okay? To check if the money is greater than or equal to 50, then I want to do this stuff. Okay? So basically, this piece of code checks if the money is greater than or equal to 50. If it is, then run these 2 pieces of code. If it's not, don't do anything. Okay? So now if I refresh the page, so I want to start from 0, and I try to buy, now it doesn't remove my money. It doesn't go to negative. Okay, it waits for me to hit 50. So if we go to 50, click buy, there you go. Now I have 1 double click. But I still have it, so it only increases by 1 whenever I click this button. Okay, so what I want to do now is actually when I have this, what's called, money, when I'm increasing by this number, what I want to do is I want to first multiply this number by the amount of upgrades. So if it's 1, or here, we'll set this to we'll set this to 1 by default, and then we will have it so it will say 1 money per click. $1 per click. So it will start at 1, and then you'll see it says $1 per click. So if I click me, it will go increase by 1. But now when I go back to the $50, when I buy one, it will go to $2 per click. So now you can see every time I buy one, it goes to 50. But the issue is I can go to 50 really easily now, right? And I can keep buying these double clicks that just increase by 1 all the time, right? So the issue is I want to make this so it's actually the price of this click also increases. Okay? So there's a lot of just kind of like formulas and stuff to have it. So I can get up to eventually where it's actually just going to be 50 per click. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit, but if I go over here, buy a lot of these, I'm almost there at 50, and it's literally going to be no point because I can click once and just increase my clicks at that point. So you can see now I'm at 50 per click, and I can just keep buying over and over and over. So what I want to do is I want to set the price of this click. Okay, we're going to use some JavaScript here. So I want to set the price of this click be 50 times the upgrades. So what I want to do is I want to increase the amount by $5. So I want to do plus upgrades times 5. So if I have 1 upgrade, it will be $5. And if I have, we'll start at 45, so it's at 50. So if I go to now refresh the page, you'll see that it starts at 50. So if we get it back over to 50 really quickly, we'll buy it, and you'll see that the price now increases by 5. Okay? So if I go back to 50 again, it's going to 60. So now it's actually a game of I get it all the way up to like whatever, right? Obviously, I'm using, some secret FBI methods right here to get me some money. Don't want to tell the government because this is an infinite money glitch. But you'll see now every time I buy a click, it will increase the price so it doesn't have to do that. Okay? So that's pretty much it for useState. You'll see the code right here. I'll put it on screen so you can pause if you want to look at it. But that's pretty much it. What I want you guys to do as a challenge, if you want to challenge yourself, is actually have it. So make it have passive income, okay? Meaning, like, if instead of buying this upgrade, whenever, let's say, I want to buy a farm, okay, we'll call it a farm or whatever. Every time I buy a farm, it's going to give me $1 every second. Okay, so if I have one farm, it will give me $1 a second. If I have 100 farms, it will give me $100 per second, and the money will increase every second. So if I have 100 farms, after 10 seconds, I should have $1,000 without clicking. Okay, so that's a little challenge for you guys to work on. Make sure that you always try to Google stuff, Google everything. Try to Google some functions or things how to repeat, but that's basically it. I will see you guys in the next part. Good luck on your challenge.